Here we go again. One of my students has requested we go over this upper level ICE or SSAT diagnostic test, sourced from LA Tutors. This test is also an excellent way to prepare for SAT math as well. We just need to remember on the ICE and SSAT, we are not allowed calculators at all. And on the SAT, there is a no calculator section. Just a friendly reminder, no cell phones. So in this diagnostics, we will go over 20 questions. Let's get started. Number one, what is the area of a triangle that has the base of 3 units and the height of 5 units? So what we like to do is just arbitrarily sketch some kind of triangle as follows. We'll the base here be, and this is equal to 3 units. And we have some height here. We'll just label this h, and this is equal to 5 units. We just want to recall that the area for a triangle is 1/2 the base times the height. So for this problem, we're going to have 1/2 times 3 times 5. So this will give us 15/2. And we see that this doesn't quite match any of the questions we have, so we need to continue simplifying. This gives us 7.5 units squared. And so as a result, our answer is B. Now continuing. All right. Number 2. So we understand that this symbol here represents addition. This symbol here represents subtraction. And a cross symbol represents multiplication of two numbers. And a line with 2 little dots on top represents division. So what's going on in number 2 is that if p pound is equal to 2p plus 4, so what they're trying to describe to us here is that this is a newly defined operation. Whenever we figure out what the value in front here, we're going to perform this operation exactly. So what is the value of 6 pound? So what they're telling us that whenever we see p, we're going to substitute in 6. So 6 pound is equal to 2 parentheses plus 4. Inside this parentheses, we're going to substitute in 6 so that we just follow orders of operation to simplify. 2 times 6 is 12. Then we carry down the 4. And lastly, 12 plus 4 is 16. And our answer here is C. Now for number 3. Here's what are the possible values of x if x times open parentheses x minus 4 close parentheses times open parentheses x plus 5 close parentheses equal to 0. So here they're just asking us to use the zero product property rule, which states that if you have two numbers that multiply equals 0, that means one of these has to be equal to 0. So meaning A has to be 0 or B has to be 0. So in this case, we have a total of 3 factors, each representing by their own little sections of multiplication. So the first statement will be x is equal to 0, or we have parentheses x minus 4 is equal to 0, or lastly, we have x plus 5 is equal to 0. So in the first case here, there's nothing for us to do, just x is 0. We're done solving. Here in the next one, we're going to have x minus 4 is equal to 0. So we're going to add 4 to both sides so that we can have x is equal to just 4. And that'll be our second solution. And in our last solution here, we have x plus 5 is equal to 0. Then we subtract 5 to both sides so that we now have x is equal to -5. And that's our third solution. So we look through here and see which one have all 3 solutions. So we'll first check that in A, B, and C, we have -5. So we can cross out D. Then we continue checking out our solutions. We see that x needs to be 4. So we're going to cross out A because we cannot have, it is +4, not -4. So that's great. Then we have now B or C. So that our last solution here is including 0 as well. So we cross out C, and then we're just left with part B, which is -5, 0, and 4. And that's it for number 3. Now, number 4. If two 6-sided cubes are rolled, okay, so what they're just trying to show us is like, oh, these are what we commonly known as dice. So we've got 2 of them. What is the probability that the first cube will be shown to be 1 or 2? So in the first one, we either want 1 or 2. And the second cube to be an even number. So remind yourself, even numbers are 2, 4, 6, 8, etc. However, on a number cube, though, with 6 sides, we only go from 1 to 6. So on each of these sides, we can have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And since we only want the even numbers, that includes that only 2, 4, and 6 will be included. So if we want to look at these dice now individually, the first one we only want 1 and 2. So out of the 6 numbers, it's possible 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We only want the first 2. So this tells us we want a total of 2 out of 6. Then in the second case, since again we have the same 6 numbers and we want only the even ones, this is telling us we want 3 out of 6. So what we're going to now do is multiply these two probabilities together because they are independent of each other. Meaning just the first row will not affect the second row and vice versa. Whatever we get in the second row will not affect the first row. So we have as follows. We have 2 over 6 times 3 over 6. So we just want to simplify now. So this is 1 over, this is that. 1 over 3 times 1 over 2. And so our final result would be 1/6. Probability of getting 1 or 2 on the first dice and a even number on the second dice would be 1/6, which is number B. Cool. Now, number 5. Marcy spends $42 for a shirt. This was $14 less than twice what she spent for a blouse. How much was the blouse? So in word problems, we want to start breaking things up into sentences and see what information is given to us. So the first thing we have here is the shirt is equal to $42. So we have some kind of shirt that is $42. Then we would continue reading, this was. So whenever you see the word this was or the word was, it refers to an equal sign. So what they're trying to tell us here is that the shirt is equal to some statement. Then we continue reading. 14 less than twice. So less than here refers to some kind of subtraction. So whatever the value we have now, in this case 14, at some point we're going to have to subtract 14 from something. Then we keep on going. Twice what she spent for a blouse. So in this last statement, we have some kind of blouse. So we have a blouse. Let's label this B. And we're going to spend twice the amount. So we're going to multiply by 2B. So we're going to have 2B here. So now we can start cleaning this statement up into a planar equation. So now what we have is 42 is equal to 2B minus 14. So this is the equation we're going to have to solve for our blouse. First thing we're going to do is add 14 to both sides. So plus 14, plus 14. This would give us 56 is equal to now just 2B. To finish this one off, we're going to divide both sides by 2 so that we can get B all by itself. So we're going to have 56 divided by 2, and this would give us 28. So the cost of one blouse, in this case, would be $28. And that'd be C. And that's it for number 5.